Hey everyone, it's Saoirse, and it is that time of the year. Can you believe it? It's almost November. Oh, that means I have to post this video before Sunday. Okay, it is currently the 30th, and it is about to be the 1st of November. Oh my goodness. That means National Novel Writing Month. For all of you people who have participated, are you freaking out? Because I am. For those of you who don't know what NaNoWriMo is, NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, every November a bunch of crazy people like me set out to write 50,000 words. Watch out, Springy. 50,000 words of, and traditionally it would be of a novel, a new novel. But you can really do whatever you want. So this will be my 6th year participating. Well, 5th like true year. The first year I was kind of, I was writing my first book and I was not fully in the like, let's do it all in November thing. So I wrote my first book in 2015, and then, excuse me, and then I wrote a memoir in 2016, I wrote another novel in 2017, I wrote the beginnings of my AT memoir in 2018, 2019 was really tough because I was in grad school, so I did a sort of like really weird in-depth like journal type of thing for 50,000 words, and this year I am planning to extend my dissertation because I've just finished my creative writing master's and I had to write a 20,000 word short story. Well, that's what I did. And 20,000 words for a story is really a weird length. It's very weird. I don't know if you've tried like writing short stories, usually around, you know, like 3,000 to 6,000 words feels kind of nice. But then a novel, you want to be at least 50,000, like that's the thinking behind NaNoWriMo, is that 50,000 words can constitute a novel, a very short novel. Mine usually end up being between 70 and 100,000 when I finish them. Like I usually only get done 50,000 words in November. There were a couple years I went crazy and wrote like 70,000, but it usually spills into December for me. So I finish, like I win NaNoWriMo, it's called winning if you get 50,000 words, and then it spills into December and I start, I finish up the book and then I kind of let it sit for 1,000 years and maybe edit it like years later, maybe never at all. We'll see what happens this time. So because I have this 20,000 word short story sitting around and these characters in my head that I've been working on thinking about all year, I thought this is probably the one opportunity to like make myself work on this. So I am going to try to extend my story into a full-length novel because though it is about 70 pages, it can be a lot more. Because I've just got, you know, there were tons of ideas that I had that I couldn't fit into the word limit for the assignment. So to make it a full-length novel, hopefully I will be able to bring to fruition my full vision for this story. And it is a Florida-based story. For those of you that know me or have been watching my videos for a while, you know I'm from Florida, born and raised. I spent the past year living in Edinburgh, Scotland to do my master's at the University of Edinburgh, and while over there in the cold and the dark and the wet, I finally fell back in love, or fell in love for the first time with my home state, hometown, the Sunshine State, if you will. And yes, it is sunshine, like full sunshine, basically 365 days a year, and I used to hate that growing up because it's currently, you know, almost November, and it is like 80-something degrees. Actually today it's supposed to be really nice. I should have gone outside already. I'll get outside, don't worry, I'm gonna carve a pumpkin today. So, I always hated that it's hot all year. You pretty much have just summer as your main season. You get a little bit of, it gets down to like the 60s sometimes in December, and then occasionally we'll get cold fronts that bring it below freezing in January usually. But most of the year it's pretty warm. So that's my Florida talk. I finally decided like I'm okay with this place where I was born and I'm gonna write a story about it. But it is a dystopian kind of apocalyptic story. Of course, it's me. Like I can't write a happy little tale. It's gotta be devastating. So I'm going to work on adding scenes. So if anybody can relate, like you're extending something or you're working on a piece that you've already started and you want to take this opportunity to like really buckle down and have the motivation to keep going with it, then listen to what I'm about to say. I don't ever know what I'm about to say, I just kind of talk. So I'm going to go through my outline. I'm not going to show you my outline because we're just not going to talk about it. But outlines for me usually are like, I plan a book chapter by chapter. So I'll usually know how long it's going to be, how many chapters it's going to be. And sometimes I'll even name those chapters. And so I work with this kind of like theming for each chapter. It's not the way that like most books are written. It's the way that I think, because I think like academically and yeah, just thematically. So in this book, it's a little bit different. So I'm doing a lot of flashbacks. It's about someone coming back to Florida, and Florida is pretty much underwater. It's been devastated by a lot of like super hurricanes because of climate change, and the landfills are the like only safe place. They're like the highest point because basically the structures have been destroyed and garbage just keeps piling up. So very like real life, topical. And so she comes back to this place, and then it brings back all of these memories of growing up there. And so I don't really want to do the whole like flashback every other chapter thing. I don't want it to have that kind of a like really predictable structure, but the memories are important in building like an understanding of who this person is and why they've come back and like what they think they can get out of coming back, if anything. So yeah, as far as structure, I usually head into NaNoWriMo with a structure, with an outline. This time is just totally different because I've never done this before. Had a complete short story, like it is complete beginning to end, but it can just be a lot longer, and there can be a lot more details in there and a lot more character development. So I've never tried this before. It might be really frustrating because I usually start out fresh. I've got like blank page, brand new characters in my head, let's get going. And yeah, this time it's intimidating, but maybe it'll be really helpful to have all of that groundwork already done. So I just wanted to show you my NaNoWriMo page. Will this show up with the camera? Maybe. So if you go onto, I think it's nanowrimo.org, then you can create a profile if you haven't already. I don't know your situation. And then it shows all of my projects from past years. So there's all the books that I've, tried to write. Like a couple of them, no, one of them never got completed, which is the AT one, and I promise I'll do it. So I created this like little cover for my book, because I think that's the most fun part, is like, imagining that this will one day be published. It'll be a book on a shelf at a bookstore, and therefore I like to create these covers, even though I know like if you get published you're not really gonna have a say in what the cover looks like. But it gets me excited, so like that's part of my process for NaNoWriMo, is to just get myself stoked on a project. So if I create an outline, if I create this cover, if I announce it, because you announce your project to the world, tell people that you're doing NaNoWriMo, then it really holds you accountable, because then you're going to be able to look back at that post and go, oh my god, I really told everybody I was going to do this. I should do it. And it, at least for me, really inspires me to keep going, because I guess I work with this like need to prove myself to somebody. It is terrible, but it does get work done in this case, because I, for the whole year, will not have any motivation to write at all. And then November comes around, and all of a sudden I'm like, let's go baby, 1667 words per day to get to 50,000 at the end of 30 days. And of course they had to pick a month that has 30 days instead of 31, are you kidding me? So yeah, I think it's 1,667 per day. And then you go to your stats on the website. Let me show you what that looks like. And this is really alarming. Can you even see that? It says 0 out of 50,000 words. They redesigned it. I really liked the old website. But yeah, 0 out of 50,000, and then it'll tell you words needed today, and then how many days straight you've been writing, and you give yourself little virtual badges. Like, I wrote 10 days in a row, and I get a little virtual badge. And then it'll tell you how long, or like what day you're gonna finish on if you keep writing at this pace. So for me, it's the greatest writing tool. Like I said, it's the only time of the year where I really write, because I love putting my word count in every day. Like, you enter your word count and it gives you all these stats, and I just love stats. Who doesn't love stats? So, and you can have all your writing buddies, like you add people from wherever, and you can see their progress too. So if they've got, 30,000 words on day 3, then you're like, oh no, and you want to catch up. So not everybody works with that kind of a mentality. Like, not everybody is motivated by like fear and and the need for competition and the need to like to prove yourself to I don't know who. But I work that way because, yeah, I'm just not motivated on my own, and it's really hard. I know other writers will understand. It's really hard to be motivated sometimes because you aren't getting, it's not like you write a book and then let me just send this off and make money from it. No, like, you have to really, really edit it, like, query agents, get an agent, find an agent that wants you, and then that agent has to find a publisher where it fits. And I've never even queried an agent because I'm so terrified that I'll lose, like, any chance of ever getting them to like my work in the future if I send them something that isn't perfect. So I'm still like holding back on that, and I think I'll just sit on like 20 manuscripts before I ever even try, which I know for some people that's silly. And I have been sending out writing to like smaller contests and things, like short stories and stuff, but not any of my novels or memoir, full-length memoirs. So we'll see. Maybe this book will be the one. I don't know. I have a pretty good feeling about it. It's pretty different from anything that I've written. So yeah, as I was saying, it's hard to get motivation because you're not getting like an instant reward, You aren't sending it out and then getting a paycheck, if you will. There's a lot of uncertainty in writing. I could spend this whole month writing a novel that will never see the light of day, and nobody but my mom will read it, and my parents always read my books, and then maybe a friend or two if they feel like it. But like, the thought of spending so much time on something that maybe will never be published, it is intimidating, and it is demoralizing, and it's hard to get motivated with that thought in your head. I know a lot of people are more positive than I am, maybe, about that whole process, but I'm just like, I'm such a defeatist, and I'm so pessimistic about it, because I know it's like 1 in a million, I always tell people it's like trying to be a Hollywood actor and make it big. It's the same as trying to get a book traditionally published these days, because everybody thinks that they have got, well, everybody does have a story, but everybody thinks that they're, is good enough to like get out there. And I don't know, I think self-publishing is becoming a much bigger thing, but as I've said before, I really have always dreamed of trying at least to traditionally publish first before I go the other route. So we'll see. And then, I guess I can show you, I can't find all of them for some reason because I've just moved, but like, there's a couple of my manuscripts. So when I'm done with NaNoWriMo, I've talked about like leading up to it, and then during it you're just going insane, telling everybody like, sorry, I can't make plans, like I have to write today, I have to write, and it makes you feel really busy, which is nice, especially if you've been laid off like me. So anyway, when I'm done with NaNoWriMo, then I print out the manuscript, and I don't tend to edit very much on hard copies. I know a lot of people, that's like the only way that they can edit and work with a text, but I do pretty well doing it digitally. But I do print it out just so I can see. So like, this is my second novel, and there's a bunch of words, you know, like it's nice because then you see, I think stories feel completely different when they're on paper. So yeah, I write on the computer, but I never read on screens. I don't read ebooks at all. Cannot stand it. I have to read on paper because it feels alive in a different way. So I will print these out and then I go through with like a red pen or whatever, and if there's any like glaring typos, heaven forbid, then I'll fix that. I don't usually do a lot of like huge edits, like changing sections around and removing things. But then I take these and I'll give them to my parents and they'll go through them, and if they find anything they'll tell me, and then they also just tell me really nice things, which is sweet because it's very vulnerable. You feel like you've just kind of birthed this word child and you don't know if anybody's gonna care about it or if it even makes sense, because once you've spent, especially if you do NaNoWriMo and you are sitting at your computer all day for 30 days straight just pounding out words, you start to kind of lose your mind and you don't know if anything you've written is coherent at all. It could be absolute nonsense. So it's nice to get a little feedback at the end, and hopefully you're not still feeling like too tender and nervous about it. But definitely give it to somebody that you trust, who will read it for you. So I think I don't really know what else to say. I've been rambling for a very long time. I've got to go. I think I'm going to talk to virtually on Zoom, talk to a creative writing high school class at my old high school about NaNoWriMo. So I hope I have some good advice to give. I don't know. I mean, really, you just keep yourself accountable by like using the badges and the stats and everything. I will write every day simply because you get a badge for having written every day. Like if you miss a day, then you can't get all the badges, and I need all the badges. I need them, okay, for my self-worth. So yeah, if I can't get my like 2-day, 10-day, whatever, however many days that you've written consecutively, if I can't get those badges, then I feel like I've totally failed NaNoWriMo, and like I have to start over next year, and this year is just a total wash. But if that is helpful to you, then good, we're the same type of person. So yeah, just hold yourself accountable, post about it, talk to your friends about it, tell other people to participate with you, even if they're not like writers. Do what I did last year and do like a very intensive journaling thing. And at the end of next month, hopefully we will all have something that we are hopefully proud of, but you don't have to be proud at first. You can just be like, wow, I did it and that's done, it's over, thank goodness. And it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling to see that 50,000 come up, and it's so intimidating to sit down on day one and get started, and I know I'm gonna be driving myself crazy because like I've already got these 20,000 words, and I'm gonna be thinking like, okay, so am I gonna write 50,000 on top of that? That's the goal, is to write 50,000 more so that then I have 70 and it's like a real like nice novel length in my opinion. And how am I going to like structure it with am I just gonna add stuff like in between scenes? Am I going to expand scenes? Yeah, I think I woke up in the middle of the night last night and had like a little mini freak out about how it's the day after tomorrow. And on November 2nd, I'm going to Disney. I'm going to Disney all day. So I don't even know how I'm gonna write 1,600 words that day. You really have to like give yourself some slack, because if you can only write 200 one day, you've got like a really busy day, then write 1,800 the next, or spread it out. Like, you can do it. Trust me, you can do this. If I can do this, you can 100% do it. So I really encourage you to go on to NaNoWriMo.org, make an account if you haven't already. I might be able to link I think I can link my profile, so if you want to be my writing buddy, you can. That would be cool. We can look at each other's stats, and oh, also you can join your local writing community. Unfortunately this year all the meetings are virtual. They're not in person. It used to be so fun. That was the best part of NaNoWriMo, is the write-ins, where you go to like cafes and things and you sit around silently with all your other writer friends who you don't even know, but like they're all doing the same thing, they're all crazy too, and having that sort of facilitated writing time is really, really good. But yeah, we can't do that this year. But the most fun one for me, which like only applies if you're in this area, is the right around the Disney World is what it's called, I think. And it's where you like you take your laptop and you start out at Disney Springs, and then you go to all the different Disney resorts and you sit in the lobbies and stuff and the restaurants and whatever, and you write for like an hour or two at each one. And it's just, you take the monorail in between. It's so much fun. And I actually got like tons of writing done when I did that. So I'm very sad that's not happening this year, but let's make the most of it and let's get those 50,000 words done. I know we can all do it. Good luck to everyone. I don't know how many like book videos or any videos I'm gonna be able to do in November because I'm gonna be going out of my mind. So wish me luck, and I'll see you on the other side of this if I don't see you before then.